Season 6, Episode 2 of The Steam Room.
We're going to have a hard time getting people on the podcast.
You know what? Yeah, I know what you mean.
Kiss of death.
Yeah, because, welcome everybody. By the way,
gentleman.
Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, by the way. We had the second gentleman on the first episode of Season 6.
It worked out good for him.
So we're going to have to hope the folks don't think it's a Sports Illustrated jinx and refuse to be on. No. But we are excited, and I love it when we do this. We are going to have a special guest today, and we're not going to tell Chuckster who it is.
I have no idea, and they always make me nervous because, I can't do that hard-hitting research.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm studying all the notes on the guests every week.
Hitting. Do you read the notes that Cap sends us?
Why would I do that? Cap dumber than a rock.
Cap is
dumber than a rock.
Cap is
dumber than a rock.
No, Cap has got good stuff in there.
Okay.
He doesn't even bother sending them because he knows you won't read them.
Well, he's a smart man. I apologize.
There you go.
He's not dumber than a rock.
So I don't know. Well, I actually do kind of know where you're going to go as we start the show with, as we always do. First of
I got some stuff to say before I vent.
Okay.
I got to get back to my ladies' notes. I got to find them. I got them somewhere.
Yeah, because this yellow piece with the spilled Diet Coke on it is not cutting it.
That was an accident, Ernie.
It's a great way to start the.
Listen, I'd rather waste alcohol than waste my Diet Coke. Flip. That was brutal. Sorry, Diet Coke. So I'm gonna start out with a couple things. I want to give a shout out to all the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
It was Veterans Day a couple days ago. And man, I never try to not acknowledge their greatness, their humanity. I just want to say thank you. We live in the greatest country in the world. And I just want to say thank you for all you do, all you have done. Every time I see an older veteran, I always say, hey, thank you for your service. And hey, for all you guys and ladies out there, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service. And I want to acknowledge Veterans Day.
My dad, U.S. Marine Corps. My father-in-law, U.S. Air Force. So,
yes. So shout out to all of them. I want to give a shout out to this man who I met him a few times, and I had great admiration and respect for him. He passed away, Bobby Allison.
Yeah.
I got to meet Mr. Allison and the Alabama gang a few times in my life, and obviously
those early NASCAR days.
The early NASCAR days, Hall of Famer. Those guys were in Hueytown. I bumped them to them at a couple functions, and obviously Talladega's right up the street from Leeds, Alabama. And so I just want to acknowledge Mr. Allison and say rest in peace. Now, this one hurts me dearly. I lost one of my great friends this week. His name was George Andrigian, one of my Armenian brothers. Man, this is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And when I got the call the other day he had passed away, it really hurt. Him and his cousin Ronnie and our other golfing buddy Kevin, man, we played golf 100 times in the last 40 years that I've been in Philadelphia. One of the greatest people I'd ever met. Owned some supermarkets in Philly, shopping bags. It taught me a lot about the Armenian people. And man, I got to know his family well. Just saw his son who works for the Knicks last week when the Knicks were in town. And I just want to acknowledge George, man, we're going to miss you, man. You're one of the best people that I've ever met in my life. I'm going to miss you, and rest in peace, George Andrigian. Just a good dude. Now, let me vent. Okay. I want to congratulate President-elect Trump. Y'all won fair and square. I want to congratulate you. I want you to do the best for the American people because I got some numbers here. 75 million people voted for President-elect Trump. 71 million people voted for Kamala Harris. So it's not a contest in my eyes where I want all 75 and 71 million to be successful. They're all Americans. He's the president of the United States, and I wish him nothing but the best. But we lost. And I just want to say this to the Democrats, which I'm an independent who voted Democratic. Do me this favor. Shut the up. When you win, you get to say what you want to. When you lose, you need to shut the hell up. Oh, President Biden they didn't get him out the race soon enough. Kamala didn't do this. We lost because we had no game plan. We still haven't solved the immigration problem, have no viable answers, never addressed inflation, bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? Hey, I love Beyonce. What bringing her out? That ain't gonna make me vote a certain way. Cardi B, I like Cardi B. That ain't gonna make me vote a certain type of way. You guys lost because y'all stupid. Come up with solutions. I don't think everybody voted for Trump is racist or whatever. I'm not a fan of the guy, but he's the president now. I'm gonna have to respect the office. Oh, another thing. The next one of you fools, idiots, or jackass, send me an article about Bruce Pearl supporting Trump. I'm gonna punch you in your face. Bruce Pearl can vote for who he wants to. Bruce Pearl got 2 jobs: win basketball games and graduate players. That's all I care about. That's all I care about of him at Auburn. Winning me games and graduating players. Me and Bruce had this conversation when he first got the job. I said, hey, man, I want to win and I want you to graduate these young black men. That's all I care about. I don't care who you vote for. For some reason, all you fools are sending me articles that he supports Trump. That man can support who he wants to. People can vote. These people out here talking about if you don't vote for Kamala, you ain't black and this and this. Shut the hell up. People can vote for who they want to. I voted for Kamala, but like I say, we didn't win. It ain't nobody's fault. It's all our fault for not having a game plan. We're not having concerts and rallies. People want solutions. They want money in their pocket. They want the border secure. You know what I really want to do? I want to walk into a pharmacy and grab some toothpaste, grab some deodorant, and be out in 5 to 7 minutes. I don't want all the shit locked up. I don't want to have to push a button and wait 15 minutes for somebody to come. I want people to stop running in stores and stop robbing people. That's crazy. And I don't want to hear progressive or whatever. If you out here robbing stores, we need to put an end to that shit. Stop stealing people's stuff. Stop running in, breaking windows, and stop shoplifting. And, man, I'm just sick of some of y'all. They won. I wish them luck. Do best for the American people, all of the American people. But this ain't a blame game. Joe Biden, man, you've been tremendous. I got nothing but admiration and respect for you. It was time for you to pass the baton. You should have did it sooner. We can agree on that, but you passed it. But she should have had a better game plan going forward instead of bringing celebrities around. People want solutions. So, man, I'm just sick of it all. I'm glad it's over. Like I say, we lost. Shut the hell up. Come up with a better game plan going forward, period. And that was me now.
Yeah.
That was 100% me. I always tell y'all, Ernie's too much of a nice guy. But that was 100% me.
Okay, and this will be 100% me. And how do you process this? I understand that people vote for candidates for any number of reasons. That it might be better for their business, might be better for the economy, might be better for border security. I'm not a Trump guy. Like you, I'm not a Trump guy. My values do not align with his. I think character matters, and I don't think he represents me. Okay, so I'm not gonna vote for him. I voted for Kamala as well. And it was a vote for hope and a vote for kind of maybe we can break out of a malaise and maybe we can unite a little more. So more Americans said, no, we want to go with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. All right. One thing that bothers me is that a lot of folks who voted for Kamala Harris are now saying, if you voted for Donald Trump, I want nothing to do with you.
Which is crazy.
And that's the part that we have to get over is the fact that because you voted one way and I voted another way, that we can never see anything eye to eye, or we never want anything to do with each other because we're getting nowhere that way.
100%.
So as much as I look, I could say I was disappointed. I wasn't surprised.
I was surprised at the ease.
I was surprised that all those battleground states went one way, but I'm not surprised that it happened, but I'm not going to be mad at individual people for the way they voted. And I think as long as we continue with that kind of mindset where you voted that way, I want nothing to do with you, we ain't going nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere. So, man, I'm just tired. I'm glad it's over. And I wish President-elect Trump nothing but the best because, hey, he won the race fair and square. And I hope that he realized that 71 million people voted for her and do the best for the American people, plain and simple.
There you go.
I feel better now.
You look like you're ready for a special guest.
I'm ready for the surprise.
Okay, you're going to have to wait just a second.
Okay.
And then we'll surprise the Chuckster when we come back on the Steam Room. We welcome you back inside the Steam Room. I like it when our producer, Michael Kaplan, Cap as we call him, decides to keep a guest secret.
What about the hard-hitting research that me and you do, Ernie?
I know who the guest is.
This is going to be great here.
Yeah, but you don't.
I do not.
In fact, it's more than one guest.
Yeah, when he said guest, that caught me off
guard. Yeah, he
kind
of, in our ear, kind of gave it away.
Okay,
well, just that it's multiple.
Okay.
So you are always talking about your favorite recording artists.
Yes. He got Dan Shay?
As a matter of fact.
Are you serious?
As a matter of fact.
What's happening?
Dan and Shay.
This is so damn awesome right now. Hey, first of all, I'm hooking everybody up with Bigger Houses. That song is so true. Ernie had a charity event the other night for Street Grace. And I says, there's a really good, cool song out by Dan and Shay right now called Bigger Houses, because everybody spends their whole life chasing something. They realize, once they get it wasn't that important. And, man, hey, welcome, guys.
Too early. You're going to make us cry, Charles. Man, thank you so much.
Yeah, he's going right for the heartstrings early.
Man, this is a pleasant surprise, man.
Dude, I'll tell you what. We've gotten to do some cool stuff in our career, but hearing y'all shout us out time and time again, that's the biggest accolade we have. It's bigger than any trophy we have on the wall. I'm telling you, when y'all shout us out, Charles, when you say our name, we talk about the songs, my phone blows up more than if we win a Grammy or if we sell out an arena. It's like, yo, did you hear Charles mentioning you guys? Sir Charles named Dan and Shay his favorite artist. All our buddies watch the show. We watch the show. And just to hear you guys talk about us, man, is unbelievable. So thank you.
And who would have thunk it, fellas, that you go back a dozen years, I guess, to when you first met. I mean, the last thing on your minds would be, you know what? One of these days, Charles Barkley is going to shout us out and say, we're his favorites. And I want to go back to that time. What it points out to me, and the way I try to go through every day, is you don't know from one day to the next who you are going to meet the next day that could change your life, change their life. And you go back to the day that you guys first met. Shay, what was that like? What do you remember about that first meeting?
Everything. Man, I think whenever a day happens that you look back on that completely changed your life, you remember all the details. December 7th, 2012 was the day that we met. And it seemed like just a normal day, It was, I feel like I've told the story so many times. I needed some background music, like some worship music with this. It was just a normal day. No, man, but I showed up because literally both of us were very broke. I was sleeping on my buddy's couch, and we heard that there was a party going on over at 507 Morton Avenue. And they had a keg of beer. And so we were there. I was like, free beer is always going to happen.
Well, that keg had been sitting there for about 3 weeks. It was a keg of PBR. There was probably some mold growing on the top. It was about a third full. So I don't know how sanitary it was to drink.
And this is in Nashville.
It was in Nashville. Yes, sir.
Nashville, Tennessee. But I showed up, man. This house didn't have It barely had a front door. I literally broke into the house to get inside. Like the window was kind of bent, and I was like, I couldn't get in. I had to reach inside the door and open it from the inside. And they had these tents, like these sheets hung all around the living room to keep heat in, literally. And it felt like walking into the Chronicles of Narnia. But I met Dan that night. We sang and sang songs till probably 2:30 in the morning. And the next day we wrote. And the very first song that we wrote got put on hold by Rascal Flatts. And we were like, well, we've made it.
Wow.
We got it. We didn't know what that meant at the time, but we just knew that they knew who we were. And we thought we had made it. But it's crazy, man. I mean, life is pretty wild. You know, growing up in Natural Dam, Arkansas, I did not think that I would be sitting here with Charles Barkley right now because he shouted us out. It's an absolutely wild life, man. But we're really grateful, man. And Charles, what you said earlier, you know, about the song Bigger Houses, I don't know, every day that I go through this life, I get more and more grateful because there was a lot of years that I chased that. Both of us did, you know, chasing the wrong things. And it feels really good to be in a place now where we get to, you know, every room that we get to be in, we're genuinely grateful and able to kind of soak this in. So I'm soaking this moment in right now, man, because we're really grateful to be here with y'all.
You know what's interesting? One of my great friends is Darius Rucker, and we've talked about you guys several times. And when I first met Darius, probably close to 10, 15, 20 years ago, and people talk about overnight success, he's like, we know overnight success. We've been playing in South Carolina for like 10, 15 years. Then we finally got the big break. And I was watching 60 Minutes a couple of years ago with Chris Stapleton. I want to say he went to Kentucky or Vanderbilt for like 3 months. And like, this shit's not for me. And then he moved to Nashville. And then he says, my big break came when Justin Timberlake did one of his songs, and the rest is history. So you guys, when did you finally like, okay, you said Rascal Flatts, but like at some point you realize like all our hard work is paying off. When was that first moment when you guys did your own thing? You're like, you know what, we're going to make a living at this.
Man, it was like, it was crazy. Like Shay said, we've been at it for a long time. Before we met in 2012, I'd been at it for 10, 15 years, you know, touring. You know, I grew up in Pittsburgh, PA, and you know, we were touring regionally with just bands in high school and trying to do it. And I, you know, all but given up. I moved to Nashville to try to be a songwriter, a producer. And, you know, the artist thing, I love doing it. But, you know, after grinding it for so long, you know, riding around in vans, cars, whatever, sitting on drum kits, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to maybe try to write songs and whatever. And at that moment, like literally a couple days later, the best singer in the world, this guy sitting next to me, it still blows my mind listening to this fool sing every day. I mean, it's not an easy task having to sing harmonies with this guy because he's just an absolute freak. But man, he walked into the house and sang, and I was like, this is the best singer I've ever heard in my life. I mean, this is just, it's fate, you know? It was like all those years of hard work. Like you said, it's just that what people see as an overnight success, there's a lot that goes into it, you know, behind the scenes and beforehand. And I think the moment that we knew or we felt like this could be a real thing, you know, like let's chase this, let's go all in. I think it was when we heard our song on the radio for the first time. Shay mentioned having our heroes, you know, acknowledge that we exist. I don't know if they actually knew we existed. Somebody sent them a song that they thought was cool, and they were like, oh, we should record this and make some money off it. But I don't know if anybody knew our name or, you know, we didn't even have a band name. We weren't planning on being a duo at the time. We were just best friends who had just met, had chemistry in the writing room. We were writing these songs and sending them around, and we'd go around like fools trying to get free lunches. We were getting free PF Chang's. We were getting people, to, you know, with the, you know, corporate cards, we were getting people to expense and buy us stuff. We were, hey, can we take some home? And we'd be eating off that for 3 weeks, you know, scraping mold off pizzas. But I think when we heard our song on the radio for the first time, we had a friend. She was working at the local radio station and was like, hey, guys, your song 19 You and Me, we're going to play it on the radio on the morning show. We went out into the driveway, Shay's Jeep, we blew the speakers out of it. And just that moment was like, I think it gave us the hope that we needed. I mean, hope is a powerful drug, and it gave us the hope that we needed, like, hey, we should do this. Like, we should go for it. We should keep writing songs. And we kind of accidentally made our first album. That first album was just, like I said, two best friends hanging out, no agenda, nobody breathing down our necks saying, hey, you guys got to turn in 12 songs by the end of December. It was just, we were having fun, made a bunch of demos, eventually got a record deal. You know, a lot of things happened in between there, but we eventually got a record deal. And we were talking about like, hey, should we go record the first album? They're like, no, it's done. We want to release your batch of demos. And it's just kind of happened by accident like that, man. But that moment hearing it on the radio was just surreal. And I still think in this era of gratitude that we're in. And I feel like that's going to be just our lives moving forward. Bigger Houses is so symbolic of where we are in our lives and in our hearts right now. Every time I hear our song on the radio, every time we get a call like this to get to come on a cool podcast, talk to folks like you guys, it's like, this is amazing, man. I appreciate it more than ever. And I think those moments are just as surreal now as they were, how long? Is that 12 years ago now?
48 years.
40, it feels like it sometimes, but man, it's unbelievable. It's a dream come true.
3-time Grammy winners and Bigger Houses, another Grammy nominee.
Listen to the words.
I did. I listened to it today.
No. I'm talking about to the public who's like, listen to the words, because when I was at your charity event, shout out to Street Grace.
Which fights child sex trafficking, and it's my wife, Cheryl Ann.
And I was going to say Cheryl Ann, the brains of the family and the looks.
Yeah,
but it was so amazing. I was talking about, because Ernie says, when did you first become Charles Barkley? I says, Ernie, I was in my hotel room, and I was like 26 years old. And I was sitting there thinking, everybody chases, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to have a big house, and I have a big car. And I was sitting there saying, man, there's got to be more to life than this. I was like, I'm tired of, like, I've accomplished that at 26. And then that's when I said, hey, man, I'm going to use the rest of my platform to try to do good stuff. And I says, I was listening to Dan and Shay the other day, and they were talking about bigger houses. I said, everybody should listen to that song, because everybody's not going to be rich and famous. Most people have to get a real job, whether you're a secretary, a teacher, a fireman, a policeman, somebody in the armed service who are really amazing people. Like, most of the time, those are real important people. They're not going to have the biggest house, the best cars, but they're really important and significant. So everybody should listen to the words of that song.
Yeah, that happiness doesn't live in bigger houses.
It does not.
Let's get into I'm fascinated by the songwriting process, guys. I'm like I watched that Beatles retrospective. I guess it was streaming on Apple or something, where it was all the old footage of these guys in the studio hammering out these classic songs and how they did it. What comes first, Shay? Is it a melody or a tune, or is it a lyric that you're trying to find, or is it just like, wow, I got this great tune, now let me write the words that make that go? How's it work?
Well, you'd have to ask Charles. Charles is actually a ghostwriter for all of our songs. He's written every single Dan and Shay song we've had out.
Y'all wouldn't be sitting here, believe me.
No, man, that's the fun part about songwriting, is that, to answer your question, it can be all of those. We don't know when we go into the studio what's going to kind of happen first. Dan and I usually start our sessions by just getting together, and we kind of catch, depending on who our co-writer is, we'll get in and just kind of hang out and talk about life. And usually from that, someone is like, hey, I got this title, or I've been working on this melody. For us, it's usually about the concept or the title first. We've got a bunch of titles written down in our cell phones, in our notes, which hopefully are password protected, because if anyone saw some of the stupid things that I have written down in there, I'd be so embarrassed. But, some of those stupid titles end up being, something that you can turn into or make someone else think of something. That's the joy of co-writing, is you get to bounce these ideas off of one another. And it's just awesome. It's like in my dumb brain, talking about Chris Stapleton I did not go to college. Dan is the smart one of this group. I'm pretty dumb, and I've accepted that.
When they asked him to count to 5 for the mic check earlier, I wasn't sure if we were going to make it through.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
3.5
I was
good.
like, hey, isn't 2 probably enough? But no, it's amazing to kind of, in my brain, I think of it as a puzzle. No matter where you're at in the puzzle, there's different pieces that you still have to fill in. But it's really fun to be able to finally, during a songwriting session, whether it's the song title or the melody, that just kind of completes that picture. It's incredible, man. And to watch that process from being in, your buddy's studio. In our case, a lot of times it was like we were just in our friend's basement writing some of these songs, and it's amazing to watch it from that process and all the memories that you have from that day or whatever it was. And then to be driving in your car and hear it on the radio, to then 6 months later being on the road and hearing people sing it back to you is kind of that full circle. It's an absolutely mind-blowing thing, and I'll never get used to that. I'm sure that there's, moments in your career, Charles, of whether it's, hearing the fans, scream your name or whatever it might be. Those things just, they never get old. But it's also for us at this point in our life, you know, we can't live and die by those moments of like those peak moments. And Dan and I have really worked on, you know, enjoying the process. You know, you'll never be able to control the outcome of something, but you can control finding joy in the process, you know, getting to create. That's why we were all born to do what we do. That's why we have these gifts. And I don't know, it's amazing to kind of, once you get to that place in your life and you genuinely enjoy what you're doing, whether that's carpentry like my dad or, you know, being a plumber, whatever it is that you enjoy, you can find joy in that process, and you've won at life. Because it's the great lie that like, hey, you can get a bunch of money and success and that's going to make you happy. You know, it's finding joy in that process. And that's when life really gets fun.
Hey, the song about your grandparents, is that really a true thing?
Absolutely, man. From the ground up. That's, you know, one of the most special songs in our career. And, you know, speaking of moments that changed our life or that we knew that we were onto something, that was one of them. You know, we had put out a first album. We had a couple, you know, mid-level hits off that album, and then From the Ground Up ended up being the first single off the second album, and it just really took things to a new stratosphere for us. But we were actually, you know, we were working on another song at the time at our buddy's place, and I had to go. My grandfather passed away. You know, my mom's side of the family is from Ohio, so I went up there, went to the funeral, and came back and, you know, was emotional, and, you know, we went to their house and, you know, had a little brunch after the funeral, and just memories and things were coming flooding back to me. And that night that I got back to Nashville, you know, the best way to cope with grief is to be creative. I think spend time with people to talk it out. And, you know, writing songs for us has helped us through a lot of tough times, honestly. So we got together. We were going to record a vocal for another song that we had already started. I don't know what happened with that song. It wasn't that good anyway. So it was meant to be that we got in to do this one. But, you know, I got back and met up with Shay and our other friend. And I was just talking about, you know, my grandparents who were married for over 65 years, which is an incredible love story, something to be inspired by for my wife and I. Coincidentally, Shay's grandparents were married for over 65 years as well. And we're just kind of talking, and our buddy had stepped out to take a call. You know, we got distracted from this other task that we were doing, recording this other vocal on this demo for another song. And we're just talking about, you know, our grandparents and the love that they built and the families that they built. And I think I said From the Ground Up. I had that title in my phone. And we were talking, we were like, we should write a Christmas song. I don't think I've ever told this story anywhere because it's probably some insider info. I was like, we should write a Christmas song. Like, think about it. Like the snow's falling and it's like building from the ground up, and we could compare it. Like it could be a, you know, synonym for our love, and, you know, talking about our grandparents and stuff. And we got to his like grandma and grandpa, you know, we wrote this thing. And I looked at Shay at one point. I was like, yo, this might be too good to be a Christmas song. We should make this like a song people can listen to 350 days out of the year, not just a couple days out of the year. And that song has been so special to us, man. And it's stood the test of time. You know, it came out February 4th, 2016, I think it was. And that song has had like several moments since. We were on The Voice this past season, and we had somebody come on and audition. This is like another insider thing that y'all know how it works on TV, but you do your blind auditions, right? Your team is full. We filled up our team, 10 people on Team Dan and Shay. So we're still doing auditions. John Legend was the one who was dragging his feet, man. He needed to fill his team, and he just kept passing and passing, and we were there for a couple extra days. So we couldn't say it to the contestants who would come through like, yo, we loved your voice, but like our team is full, so we like didn't turn our chair. That was the case. Like this girl came on. She was really great. She was like, oh my gosh, Dan and Shay, like so great to meet you guys. I'm bummed you didn't turn your chair. You guys are my favorite band. From the Ground Up is our wedding song, and my fiance is actually here backstage. I was like, no, trust me, this is TV magic. We would have turned our chair. Like, you know, this is crazy.
Broke her heart.
Yeah. So we ended up grabbing a guitar, and Shay went up and sang it to them while they danced. And it was moments like that, man, that shows the power of a song. It's not just a chart position on the radio or a trophy on a wall or whatever. It's, you know, it's what it means to somebody's life. And that song, Speechless, you know, some of our other wedding songs, Bigger Houses, like they mean something to somebody more than just hearing it in the car on the radio. And to be a part of somebody's life like that, man, is special. So what started as a story and a conversation, you know, coming back from my grandfather's funeral led to maybe a Christmas song, scrap that, and led to a song that changed our career, man. So it's a true story, and we get choked up every night when we sing it. Like Shay said, there's nothing quite like being on that stage and hearing fans sing these words back to you. That means so much, man. That's an intimate connection that we wouldn't trade for the world.
You know, it's really
Chuckster. Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Of course you can.
Because I think that this needs to be done. because these guys have just released a Christmas album.
Oh, okay.
A double album, right? I mean, you got like
21 songs
some
on there.
classics and some originals, right?
Yeah. That's right.
The guy I'm sitting with here fashions himself as quite the singer, as a matter of fact.
Karaoke.
And in the genre,
the
genre of holiday tunes or Christmas songs, I present
you're
this
not,
little
you're not gonna do this,
snippet.
are you?
Just listen
Ernie,
to this.
This is just so inappropriate right now.
Listen.
Frosty the Snowman was a jolly.
Hold it.
Let's go.
Want to go with the music?
I was doing it.
Wait, no.
Start over again, guys.
Listen to the music.
Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul with a corn pipe and button nose, 2 eyes
Take your
made out
time.
of coal. Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know he came to life one day. But there must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found for when they placed it on his head. He began to dance around, thumpity, thump, thump, thumpity, thump, thumpity, thump, thump, over the hills of snow.
You like how he transitioned into the spoken word portion
That was
of that.
like you turned into a pastor halfway through, and he's like, "And I'll tell you this, Frosty, man, that was a 10 out of 10."
Guys, first of all, I fashion myself as the greatest living karaoke singer of all time.
Which is wrong.
But I was sober singing then. You have to be drunk to do karaoke. So
true.
I deserve a hall pass. I guarantee if
You
I
get
did
nothing.
that with a few drinks in me, it'd be like, you remember what they called me, Ernie?
Old brown eyes.
They called me old brown eyes.
Yeah.
I can really, Ernie, you just a hater.
I am not. All I did was play a piece of video from
Ernie,
a
you can't do
previous steam room.
Nobody does karaoke sober.
We'll give you another shot at it, man. We'll give you a mulligan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'd like to hear that again. You might be the greatest karaoke singer in the world. Because here's the thing about karaoke. You can't be the jerk off that comes in there and sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Everybody hates those people. You can't get on there and be like, just killing it. You got to kind of be a karaoke singer. I think it's two different genres of singer.
See that?
I think you might
We
be the
use
greatest
words like
karaoke
genre.
singer.
Yeah, we do.
We
Yeah.
use genre. Don't forget that.
Genre. I use some words that I don't even really know the meaning of. I think I use that right.
Hey,
Go ahead.
so,
See, that was worth me interrupting you,
that
wasn't
was
it?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, because you tried to embarrass me. That's
Yeah, I
okay.
did. And I did. Win-win.
That's a win-win. What is the best thing about touring and the worst thing about touring?
Oh, let's see.
You do the best and I'll do the worst.
The best thing. I was gonna say something crazy. I'm not gonna say something crazy. Let's see. The best thing about touring, man. Honestly, at this point, getting to hang with the boys. We've all got our families. We're all, we got separate lives. We come home, we do our thing. Everybody's working. Some of our band guys run businesses here in Nashville. But those 3 or 4 days a week we get to go out there. I mean, it's like we're teenagers again, man. We'll hang on the bus after the show. Everybody's having drinks, other things. We're just, we're hanging,
Other things.
catching a vibe.
Other things.
It depends on what state we're in. It's just a vibe out there, man. Getting to hang. Obviously, the show is fun. That 2 hours you're on stage, there's nothing quite like it. We try to remind ourselves. I think that's one of the great things of being in a duo. We can look over. If one of us is kind of zoned out, it's like, dude, look at this. There are thousands of people who paid their hard-earned damn money to come to this show. They could have been anywhere. When you're in a cool city where people could have made a choice to do anything else and they come to our show, that's not lost on us, man. It's something we're grateful for. We'll never take for granted. But it's after the show. It's like, I think somebody said it, as maybe Paul McCartney was like, we don't get paid for the 1 hour a night that we're on stage. We get paid for the 23 hours a day that we're not on stage, that we got to be away from our families. And honestly, some of those times are the best. Like, Shay, you like to go golfing during the day. You've played some of the sickest courses in the world. Getting to hang, try different meals, go to different cities. Y'all get to travel a lot, man. And it's just a beautiful thing, getting to see other places that I never would have probably left Pittsburgh, man, if it weren't for this. I'd still be living in the same hometown I grew up in, which is a great place. Shout out to all my crew in Pittsburgh. But man, it's getting to travel the world, getting to hang with the boys, getting to act like fools. You know what I mean? Like, we've got a bus driver. You could have a bunch of drinks and wake up in the next city. It really is like cheating the system. And anytime we get frustrated about the travel or anything else we got to do, it's like, dude, this is pretty sick. So, like I said, being in a duo, we remind each other, like, even on the hardest days, it ain't that hard. It ain't that bad. But You know, the bad parts of it, I guess you've got little kids now. You've got 3 little kids. I've got 4 dogs here. Just they can't go on the road every time. Being away from home, I know it's tough.
That's tough. And we all, all of us kind of go through that no matter what you do. Being away from home is really difficult. But man, we do get to do some amazing things. And I feel like at this point in our career, we're never gone for more than like 3 days. And like Dan said, I do get to go golfing, which I'd like to bring up golfing quickly because one of these days, Charles, you and I got to go.
Why don't you come to Tahoe and play?
Done. I need to do that.
Didn't you just do it? Edgewood?
I played at Edgewood. I didn't play at the tournament, but I want to do it. We were there for a couple days off.
First of all, it would be the best week of your life. All the guys from Rascal Flatts come every year, and they would have a blast. And we do karaoke every night. I mean, they obviously we do karaoke every night. But we will.
I'll be your duo partner, dude. You can stand in.
You'll be dragging me down. I mean,
that's true.
I don't want you dragging me down. I mean, the crowd be screaming my name, Charles, Charles.
Stop.
Let's be honest. They would not be able to see me because I'm like 5'6", and I think that they might literally not be able to see me. I could just hide behind you. You could actually lip sync. Maybe I could be right behind you, and
Hey, first
I think
of all,
that might be a plan.
No serious singer lip syncs. Come on, brother. Come on now.
Hey, that's true.
A few
That's
should.
true. And you're a serious singer.
Yeah.
One of the best. But hey, I gotta tell you quickly, today, this is how important it was for me to be on this podcast and to be here with you today. I got a text on Saturday and said, hey, is there any chance that you would want to go to Augusta Monday and Tuesday and play around? We're going to do 9 holes on Monday, play 18 on Tuesday. And I said, you know what, man? I can't because I'm going to hang with my boy Charles Barkley.
Wow.
And it was way
First
more
of all,
important.
not only is he a great singer, he's freaking nuts.
I would second guess that
I was like,
decision.
hey, that was a bad.
I know. I'm regretting it now. I mean, I could be out there right now.
Well, first of all, if he's a good friend, he'll invite me and Ernie to go play with you.
Hey, I was the one invited. I couldn't get on there.
Okay.
I'm just bumming off the other people.
Hey, Ernie, how's your game?
My game is
solid.
It's okay.
He's solid.
It's okay.
Ernie's humble.
It's okay. It's not great.
Look at the way he's sitting. You can tell he's lying right now.
No,
he's like, I guess I'm okay.
No,
Man's probably a 5.
my games. You know what? If I can keep it and play off the tee, I'm okay.
What is your handicap anyway?
I'm down to about a 6 right now.
Oh my goodness!
Oh no! Stop!
Come on, you got to play Tahoe.
I'm a versatile player, though. I can play a 6, like 37. I can really go anywhere with my handicap in a matter of weeks.
You got 3 young kids?
I have 3 kids. I got a 7, a 4, and a 1.5-year-old, and I'm about to have my fourth baby. We haven't said what it is, I don't think.
Every now and then you're going to say, isn't it time to tour? Hey, look at that.
Boy, it sure is getting late in the season. I bet we probably should head out and
Ask
go
Jay what the best part of touring is. Getting some sleep.
being on tour.
No kidding.
Success and fame, it's overwhelming at times. I'm glad you're playing golf because you have to find something to get away from it. What do you do to get away from it?
What do you do?
Oh, man. Honestly, not much. I don't have a whole lot of hobbies. I'm
trying to get him into golf.
Dude, I played golf when I was a kid. I was all right. I'm so bad at golf. I feel like in golf, you either got to practice not at all, step up, not think about it, or you got to be practicing all the time. I get so frustrated. I busted out the sticks this past summer. Was not good. Lucky if I get the ball off the ground. Honestly, man, I'm a nerd. I'm a studio nerd. I love being in the studio making records. It sounds lame to say, but when we're off, when we're not doing this, I like messing with sounds, and I'm always working on our records. We put together a 21-song Christmas album this year, which was a crazy thing that I did. I don't know where I found the time to do it, but if I'm not doing that, I'm hanging with my wife and the dogs. We love being home. We never really leave the house, walking around the yard, being weird, nature people, going for walks, hikes, doing a thing, and that's about it, man. I don't have a whole lot of hobbies. I like going for a run.
But you don't have time for
Dude,
hobbies.
I'll tell you what. I was trying to get my hoops game on. I need some lessons from you guys, man. I am so bad at basketball. I love playing, though. That was one of the coolest things about doing our first arena tour, getting to play in all those NBA gyms, getting to work out in the facilities. Well, actually, the first time we did our arena tour was during COVID, so we didn't get to work out in all the gyms.
Yeah,
I was
that sucked.
so bummed. We got some good swag. Some teams took better care of us than others. Milwaukee Bucks, shout out Bucks, took great care of us. Fiserv Forum, that place is nuts. getting to play in those gyms, work on the game a little bit, awesome. But I am so bad, man. This summer, when we had days off, I'd be out there just working on my form, working on free throws, short shots, trying to get it right. But I don't have it in me. I'm good in the paint. I could bang people around a little bit, play a little defense. The stroke is not it, though, man. From the free throw line, I'm about 10% if I'm lucky.
Oh,
I asked
Shaq would say that's good.
Yeah, Shaq would say that's you're in the zone. Are you king of the grill on the weekend? Nobody can touch my grill. I got this.
You know what? First of all, there's things that I aspire to in my life, and it has nothing to do with music at this point. I feel like we've got to have some really cool accolades, but I want to be that guy on the weekend. I want to be that dad. I want to fully be dadded out when they come outside and I'm wearing like some, I don't know what it'd be nowadays, like some Hey Dudes, those slip-on shoes, some long socks.
You need an apron.
I need an apron that maybe says something like, maybe it'll have Charles Barkley's face on it. I feel like I could get a Charles Barkley branded apron. I could be wearing that. And your son comes up and you're out there, you're just flipping burgers, cooking up some zucchini or something. I don't know what people do. I clearly don't do it. Zucchini and stuff, when you're flipping.
Whoa.
When, your dad comes, or, your son comes up there and he was like, Dad, will I get to do this one day? And that's when I slowly look over and I just say, son, if you're lucky. And then I'll remember it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And then he's like, who's that guy on your shirt? I'm like, that's Charles Barkley. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. And he goes, he's a lot cooler than you, Dad. And then we get an argument. And so, anyways, I have it all planned out in my head.
Let me say this as we close too, guys. It's been awesome to have you on.
It's been awesome. Thank you.
But I always get the impression that all these artists, everybody up there in Nashville, all know each other, are always bumping into each other on the street. Look, Drew Holcomb and Ellie are two of my favorite people in the world. And I've told Drew before, I said, you're the Ted Lasso of music. I said, the message you're sending out is so positive, whether it's gratitude, whether it's family, whatever it is. And I said, and we need that. And I get the same vibe talking to y'all. And it's been just awesome to spend some time with you. And thanks for making the time. And thanks
Thank
for, man.
And you're nuts for blowing off Augusta.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, this is better. I'd do it 10 times out of 10. Now we got to go play it together. That'll be the redemption.
That would be awesome.
Hey, has the Christmas album dropped yet?
It has.
October 18th.
Okay.
When is too early to listen to Christmas music?
Now is too
Dude,
early.
we've been getting a little bit of heat.
When can you start listening?
The day after Thanksgiving
is when you can start listening to Christmas music.
The tricky thing is this year Thanksgiving's late, so we're trying to get out there and sell some records.
It's the same time every year.
Is it? I don't know. There's what is it? The third Thursday or whatever?
Thursday in November.
Always the same
It's a late
time.
Thursday.
Here's the thing. Thanksgiving is a holiday inside of the Christmas season.
Hey, there you
is
go.
The way that I see it. And this is the way I've always thought about it.
It sounds like a man trying to sell a Christmas album.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, Charles, listen to me, okay? This is very important. I think November 1st is whenever Christmas season starts.
Agreed.
Because the Christmas season starts. And so what kind of music are you listening to at Thanksgiving? Are you listening to Halloween music? I don't know if that exists, but no.
The Monster Mash.
You're not listening to the Monster Mash.
November
You're listening
1st.
We agree. That's after Thanksgiving.
No, November 1st is a few weeks before
That is not, Charles. That is incorrect.
Oh, I'm thinking, my bad. I'm thinking December 1st.
We're still working on calendar with Chuck.
Hey, listen. Guys, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. It's the greatest 3 or 4 days in my life, and then from there it's all downhill with Christmas, because people just want.
Man,
come on, man! People just want stuff.
Where do you guys live?
Atlanta. I'm in Arizona.
Specific addresses.
Yeah, what is your specific address?
Hey, listen, apparently my house is on the internet right now. Everybody knows where I live. Like somebody sent me that the other day. They're like, yo, man, your house is on the internet. And
everybody's house is on the internet.
Which should be illegal, I might add.
Didn't really see this conversation going that way.
Yeah, Charles is talking about bigger houses and the message of bigger houses, and then they're going to see his house and be like,
wow.
Clearly.
Exactly.
Well, we can't keep up with the Joneses if that's the house we're chasing.
Big hypocrite. Dan and Shay, awesome spending time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, man, and continued success. And really thank y'all for taking the time, man. Hey, I love your music. I love your personalities. And keep doing your thing.
And love your message. See you, fellas.
Y'all are the best, man. Thank you guys for always gassing us up, for the kind words, and thank you guys for having us on, man. It's a dream come true. Let's kick it soon, all right?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
do it. Let's do it. Hey,
right.
listen to that. Playing us out that way.
Oh my God! There you go with the
That's
Christmas
stunning.
stuff in November.
Yeah. Why
November.
not?
He
Why
said
not?
November the 1st. That's
Why
way too soon.
Yeah.
November 1, Charles. November 1.
Thank you, guys.
Chuck and Ernie in Steam Room. Come and join us in Steam Room. Chuck and Ernie in Steam Room. Leave your towel on in Steam Room.
Chuck and Ernie in the steam room. Chuck and Ernie in the steam room. Leave your towel on in the steam room.
Shame Dan and Shay couldn't have heard you sing that. They would have been really, really impressed.
Told you. Oh, brown eyes.
We are,
Can you believe that dude turned down Augusta for you? What a loser.
that was for you.
Well, that's a winner.
You know, the answering machine, one of the most popular parts of the program, obviously. The number is 404.
987-0330.
Absolutely. Here's call number 1.
I can't believe I got that, actually.
Hello, world. This is Charles
Only been
Barkley.
6 years.
Leave me a message.
Hello, Charles and Ernie. My name is Matt, and I am a sergeant in the Army. I recently returned to the United States and thought you would enjoy hearing about our latest morale booster in the Middle East. He's a very large rubber duck, and his name is Charles Duckley. Charles has been such a hit with the unit and has been given the opportunity to be promoted from private to private second class, or PV2. It only felt right to name this massive duck after the round mound of rebound. Thank you for letting me share this with you guys. I hope you both have an amazing day.
So a big rubber duck.
Well, first of all,
uniform.
I'm so glad that I was shouted out to veterans.
Yeah.
I have so much admiration and respect. But that's a nice compliment. I want to thank you for your service. He said he just got back to the States. I wonder where he was stationed at. I just watched 13 hours in Benghazi on the plane. It was really a great movie. Let you know what some of these soldiers go through. It's called 13 Hours in Benghazi. It was really awesome.
Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Call 2.
Hey, Charles. I just want to know who you got in the boxing fight between Iron Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
You know, I'm going to probably watch that. I really don't want to watch it, but I'm fascinated. Man, I just hope Mike don't get hurt. Mike used to be a neighbor of mine in Arizona, believe it or not.
Really?
Yep.
I mean,
Like
same
a-
neighborhood or
Same
like
neighborhood.
next door?
Yeah. No, next in the same neighborhood. I like Mike a lot. I just hope nothing bad happens to him.
How old is he right now?
He's almost 60.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jake Paul is a solid boxer.
Yeah.
And, you know, the last time we saw Mike and him and Roy Jones were fighting, and as Snoop Dogg said, he says, it's like a black barbecue, two uncles fighting in the backyard, which was one of the great lines I've heard in a long time. And man, I don't want old jocks out there trying to compete against young people. So I wish them both well, and I just hope Mike does not get hurt because.
Well, the question was who do you have in the fight?
Well, I like Jake Paul in the fight. I hate saying that, but because if they had fought 30 years ago, Mike would have killed him. But Mike's
How old is Jake Paul?
I want to say 30, early 30s.
Well, obviously 30 years ago, he would have been a child. Tyson would have won that fight.
No, but Tyson would have been. That's a good point, Ernie. Oh, there you go. Good job, Captain Obvious.
Well, not exactly. I would have liked the 30-year-old Mike Tyson over the 6-year-old Paul. Next call.
If you and Shaq shrunk to 6 feet tall, who is the better player?
Oh, no question, I'm a better player. Because Shaq's I'm a better basketball player than Shaq, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq is one of the most physically imposing, dominating players of all time. But as far as strictly a basketball IQ, we're not even on the same level. And he can take that how he wants to. But if
he'll take it well, I'm sure.
No, but just as a pure basketball player, I'm a much better basketball player. But I never played against Wilt Chamberlain, but I've never played against a player more physically imposing than Shaq.
Yeah.
You know, Shaq's the biggest human being in the world.
Biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you were both 6 feet tall.
Oh, I'd kill him.
Okay.
I'd kill him.
One more call.
Hi, guys. It's Leslie from Dallas, the lady that had the fire a few years ago, and you were nice enough to mention me in the previous episode. I just wanted to call and let you know I'm doing good. I'm still standing. I made the necessary adjustments, and I'm still moving forward and still enjoying life. Thanks to you guys. You helped me through some tough times. You still bring joy to my life, and your show will always be number one for me. Thank you for everything you do, and keep on keeping on. Bye.
Means the world. Thank you.
That means the world. Number one, thank you. But that is the key to life. Good stuff is going to happen. Bad stuff is going to happen. You just have to keep trucking. Like when something good happens, you just say thank you. When something bad happens, you're like, okay, what do I do next? So I'm proud of you, young lady. But I tell people that all the time. No matter who you are, it ain't always bad. It ain't always good. You just have to keep going, man. Because if you stop when something good happens and don't keep going, you're stuck. If you definitely stop when something bad happens, you're totally screwed. But I'm proud of you, young lady. Thanks for being a loyal steamer.
Yeah, Leslie, thank you much. Thanks for thinking of us, and thanks for checking in. Continue to do that. We appreciate it.
You know, this was my favorite show.
It's not over yet.
No, but I'm just saying, with Dan and Shay, man,
yeah,
that was a nice surprise. It's about time Cap did something.
Cap's always producing.
He's always producing. He's not always doing good stuff.
Cap always comes through.
Oh, my God.
It's time
for Good for the Soul.
DJ's Good for the Soul.
I think that would be a great way to end the show.
Love that idea.
Good idea, Ernie. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
I want to shout out Jason Kuiper at over at Bobby Jones and the PGA Family Golf event. This is my grandson Everett. 9 holes, about 40 to 50 yards each. That was pretty close by Everett. And so he and I played together on the first week. It was just so good for my soul to be out there with him, and we shot even par.
Did you? I can beat him.
We're in second place going into the next 2 weeks, in which Eric, my son.
Wait, so y'all play another? It's like a.
There's 2 more weeks now, and I want to thank Eric too, because Eric said, "Hey, Poppy, you want to play one of these weeks with Everett?" And I said, "I absolutely want to." So we went out there Sunday and played.
Well, that was strategy on his part to get the weak link out the way early.
Oh.
But Eric's a better player than you.
But it's so much fun because you got these other moms and dads and kids out there, and they're teaching the game out there at Bobby Jones. So shout out to Jason Kuiper, and shout out to the guys we were playing with, Chris and Rhett Kirtley. It was so much fun.
Can I do a Good for the Soul?
You can, if you'd like to do a Good for the Soul.
So
yes.
Number one, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait to do that with Henry. I want to give a shout out. So last week we were off, but we had a charity event here in Atlanta run by your wife, Cheryl, for Street Grace, which is sex exploitation of young
children,
people.
Yeah.
Man, 500 people showed up. And I want to thank all 500 of those people who took time out of their busy life. If you get a chance, go check out Street Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl DeLuca. I call her Cheryl
Johnson.
DeLuca because I don't want to call her Johnson because she's much better off being with just Cheryl DeLuca.
Yeah. No.
Okay, but it was an amazing event. I want to thank all the staff and the hotel who put the food together. It was awesome. So shout out to Cheryl Ann and Street Grace.
Yeah, thanks for being there, Chuck.
Yo,
it was me and Chuck for a half hour.
We had a great
talking
for 500 people. And go to the website and check it out because we're raising money. It's a great cause. Go check it out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we appreciate Cheryl Ann.
Yes, we do.
Because she's, as I like to say, I'm a sportscaster. She's a world changer. Yes, she is. That's it for the steam room. This was a great episode.
It was. Thank you, Dan and Shay.
Everyone is my favorite, isn't it?
Thank you, Dan and Shay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. It just gets better and better and better.